everybody, it's Haley from The Modern Ferret, and I think it's time I introduce you to my newest family member, Elijah. Ooh, say hi! How I got him is a pretty funny, unexpected story, so I thought I would share it with you all. I want to tell you guys how I picked his name, how he reacted to his very own 1,200 square foot ferret park, and how Eli's personality differs from all the other ferrets I've had in the past. Let's get started. A few weeks ago, a friend reached out with a connection to another friend who had a one-eyed ferret in desperate need of a new safe home. This ferret was living in a small cage and didn't get a lot of outside playtime. Even though I felt bad for the guy, I told her I wasn't really in a place to adopt another pet. To be honest, I was still grieving the loss of Moose, my first ever ferret, as well as the recent loss of a very close family member. I just wanted to focus on me for a bit. Then she sent me a picture of him cuddling in the crook of her arm, just like Moose used to do. Immediately my heart got that squeezing feeling you get when you see something so cute it hurts. And right then and there I said, fine, I'll meet him, but there is no guarantee I will adopt. But isn't that kind of how these stories always start? I met Eli and immediately I was hooked. I will say I don't feel this way about every single ferret I meet, but he was genuinely calm, sweet, and docile. I picked him up and he melted into my arms just like Moose used to do when he was a baby. Eli's owner said she'd had ferrets in the past too, but never once met one as cuddly as him. The way she talked about Eli reminded me about how my vet used to talk about Moose, how the staff at her office used to talk about him, and how pretty much everyone who ever had the pleasure of meeting Moose used to talk about him too. To me, even though I'd sort of sworn off getting any more ferrets for the time being, it's like God said, you need this to heal. And get this, actually a few weeks prior to meeting Eli, I was given a really solid small pet cage for a sponsorship that was literally just sitting there full of ferret cage accessories. That was another moment that felt like adopting Eli into my family really was meant to be. Watching him sniff around my home, investigate the couch, and test the limits of his environment was really fun. I always enjoy viewing the world through the lens of my pets. And now is the time in this story I'm going to call Ferret Parent Fail, or person who claims to know a lot about ferrets on YouTube fail. As someone who people from all over the internet ask for ferret advice from, I'm more than a little embarrassed that this happened. You see, when I got Eli, he didn't come to me with that name. Instead, he was introduced to me as Annie. I blame the nipples because both boy and girl ferrets have nipples, so it can be a little bit confusing. I have another video where I go into ferret anatomy if you guys are curious, and I will link in the description below. But let me just say, it is not always so obvious to tell. I took the previous owner at their word and didn't think twice about it. In fact, I spent the better part of an entire day calling him Annie and then testing out other female names like Hope to see if any of them would stick. Finally, the next morning, I flipped Annie on her back to give some more belly tickles and scratches. Lo and behold, that's when I saw that Annie had a belly button that's not really a belly button at all. And to think I was already halfway through ordering pink leashes and collars to celebrate, with visions I had of buying matching pink dresses to wear around town, and the hope I held of finding 4 more female ferrets to finally recreate the Spice Girls for Halloween. All my dreams for the future dashed in a moment. This all certainly threw me through a loop, and it took me a couple days to rewire my brain and start to see her as a him. Once I had all that sorted out, it was time to start testing out names. And I am not one of those people who just chooses one willy-nilly and calls it a day. I brainstorm lists with a whole bunch and then test them out for days at a time. Instead of asking what name I had ultimately picked, my friends started asking, what is No Name's name today? I kept coming back to Elijah because it just seemed to fit him. The name means the Lord is my God and strong God. And if there's one thing Eli is, it is strong-willed. I set up the office as his primary play area with his cage, water bowl, some new toys, and a super comfy bed gifted to us by my friend, the trained ferret. I give him access to the living room, dining room, and kitchen under strict supervision. The third zone I give him access to is my bedrooms and the bathroom. He's starting to understand my getting ready routine pretty well, and while the weather is nice, I'd like to take him out to the ferret park while I eat breakfast. I've already had one heart attack so far. I thought Eli might have gotten out of the house and I started searching frantically for him, only to find him tucked away in my linen closet. My friends and I love to sit and listen to him shuffle across the wood floor on a frantic search to find all the shoes. He is obsessed with the diapers that my sister left here for my niece. He already thinks he's people, so he drinks out of all of my water glasses. He likes to play with my friend's daughter and she giggles when Eli sniffs her feet. He enjoys hanging out with my friend's dog and thoroughly confusing him with his strange antics. He is on a mission to annihilate every single houseplant in my house. He digs each one up like he's looking for the $350 million Hope Diamond from Titanic. He knows what he's doing is wrong. You could tell by the way he looks at me when I call his name and say no. He doesn't care though, because he knows he already has me wrapped around his little toe. The longer I get to know him, the more nicknames I develop for him. He's earned some old favorites like Stinky Head and Doof, but I also sometimes call him Small Fry One Eye Eli. He's potty trained in the office, but not 100% when I give him access to the other rooms of the house, so I try to wait for him to go before I let him out. I'm using clicker training that I learned from the trained ferret to reinforce good potty behavior. Next, I like to train him to do recall, which just means coming when his name is called. This is especially important when he explores the backyard and decides to curl up in a random spot without telling me and falls asleep. I'm looking forward to making many new memories together, to hosting more ferret playdates and sharing many, many naps. Welcome home, Eli. I am so glad you are here. Hi, I love you. I love you even though you did that. Who did, oh my gosh, who did this? You did this. You did this. Oh, not done. Not done.